Welcome to Inland Empire Alive, bringing you issues, events, and perspectives from throughout San Bernardino and Riverside counties. I'm David Brady, and today I'll be joined by Edward Urchevek, Director of the San Bernardino Public Library, to talk about the return of in-person programs and activities, as well as some great events coming up at the city's library branches. That's today on Inland Empire Alive. Joining me now to talk about the return of in-person programs and activities to San Bernardino's public library branches is its director, Ed Urchevek. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, you did a great job.
So talk to me about what has changed. The branches are now resuming in-person programs and activities. What is that? What is the scope of that?
Okay, well, the City of San Bernardino Library consists of the Central Library, Feldheim Library at 555 West 6th Street in the downtown. And then we have three small branch libraries, the Dorothy Ingram branch at 1505 West Highland Avenue, the Howard Rowe Marshall branch on Marshall Boulevard, 108 East Marshall in the north end of town, and the Villa Senor Library at 5th and Mount Vernon, 525 North Mount Vernon Avenue. So a couple of things going on with libraries. We're glad to resume our in-person ongoing programs at all libraries. This consists of a wide variety of programs and activities, usually on a weekly basis or sometimes a little less frequently, including story times, even some of which are bilingual, crafts, special events, and then we also offer homework assistance to students K through 8 in the afternoons after school, both in person at three of the libraries, except for Ingram, but then we still offer Ingram as well as the others via Zoom for students who can't make it to us in person. So that's a unique opportunity to help students with homework in addition to the other ongoing programs that we have. Then we have bigger programs throughout the year. In March, we have the In and Out reading program. In the fall, we have Baker's Drive-Thru reading program where kids can get coupons for food in exchange for reading, which always is very popular. And then, of course, the big one in the summer reading program. And it's actually available for all ages, not just kids. I mean, people usually think of summer reading as only being for kids, but it's actually for all ages of which people can receive prizes and things for reading. So it's a good way of promoting reading throughout the year at the libraries.
Now, all of these types of programming, do these take place at all four branches?
All four libraries,
okay.
Right, and they're all free.
Okay.
The great benefit is our services are free, and there's few communities that can benefit more than San Bernardino for a free public library.
Well, so you've probably answered my next question. So to get a library card, no cost?
No cost for a library card. Best bargain in town. All we need is a current proof of ID to sign up for a card to actually check out materials. Now, we also offer, as we'll talk a little bit more later, about a wide variety of online services. If you don't already have a library card, you could also just sign up for a library card to utilize the digital services without even physically coming into the library.
So give me an example. Are those books? You could actually transfer books digitally?
Right. There's several...
Audio?
Yeah, a whole bunch of resources. When you go to our website, sbpl.org, that's thinking of San Bernardino Public Library.org, and then we have various resources that libraries subscribe to make available to their card holders. Some of the big ones and most popular are the Overdrive e-book and e-audiobook collections, of which you can either read the items on your device or listen to your items. So that was very popular, especially in the last couple of years of dealing with the pandemic, and for a while our services were limited or people weren't able to come out. Another popular one is we also offer a homework help type program from a vendor for learners of all ages, and they can exchange information via chat with a subject expert. So if somebody's working on algebra and stuck on algebra, They can log in and then get in touch with an algebra expert who can help walk them through that. And then we have an expanding array of resources, many of which geared toward students. The list constantly expands. Some of the ones we just added recently are resources related to science, the environment, and National Geographic for kids. But we offer a wide range of electronic resources, including newspaper articles, electronic magazines. It's like popular magazines in an electronic format, a business directory, national phone directory, and the list is steadily growing. So those are things that you can utilize for free. And like I said, if you don't have a library card, just to use the digital resources, you can just sign up online. You don't even have to physically come in.
You talked about the no cost. I noticed that a lot of libraries are starting to waive late fees. How does that?
Well, we've waived late fees for children.
Okay.
They do still exist for adults, but we've waived late fees for children recently as an action from our Board of Trustees, viewing that as a good opportunity to promote reading and equity in the community. So that's a good benefit for kids, is the waiving of late fees.
You talked about the pandemic, and certainly that has had a huge impact on your operation.
Right.
What other ways has it kind of changed the vision of libraries? Has it changed how you're going to operate going forward, or the way you're going to do things? I mean, certainly the rise of all these online resources.
Yeah. Well, somewhat, because there is the rise of online resources and that, but we're still looking forward to all the benefits of in-public service as well. We've also been fortunate this year, after many lean years in the city, to actually have the opportunity to expand hours. The 3 branch libraries had only been open 20 hours a week, but starting last October 21, we're actually in the fortunate opportunity to go to 40 hours of public service at all 4 libraries, thanks to the generous recommendation of our city manager, Rob Field, and then supported by the Mayor and City Council, since they're the funding body. So all libraries are open noon to 8 Monday and Tuesday, and then 10 to 6 Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Libraries closed on Friday, but it still is a significant boost, especially for the branch libraries, to double the hours at the branch libraries. So yes, we've made some adaptations with COVID, and some of those things will probably continue with more electronic resources. And we talked about the homework help via Zoom and that, but still looking forward to having people back in our facilities as well.
How long have you been director of the library?
I've been the director of the library for 8 years. I've worked overall for the city 25, but have been director for 8 years. It will be 9 in May, but I've dealt with many lean years budgetarily, so it's good to have an opportunity to actually do a little better and actually improve some services and make them more available to the public.
I know many of us who grew up here as kids were encouraged to go to our local libraries.
Right.
For those that didn't have that opportunity, they didn't grow up where there was a local library, what do you say to get them, that maybe they're later in life, they're an adult, and they don't think there's something there for them? How do you what's your elevator pitch?
Well, libraries are still vitally important as ever. Like I said, if there's any community that its residents can benefit from the services offered by a free public library, it's San Bernardino. And like I said, you can't beat the price of signing up for a library card, checking out books, taking advantage of our electronic resources. We also offer free public computers, free Wi-Fi. Another of our great assets is we do have a literacy program that, in addition to providing very basic literacy services, we also offer citizenship classes, English as a second language, basic computer classes. They also do the homework help for all. So again, that's another great resource that people can utilize to help improve their skills and improve their lives at no cost.
Are there sort of hidden gems, if you will, that services that most people don't know about?
Oh yeah, sure. Among our hidden gems is at Feldheim we have what's called the California Room, which is a room of local history materials unique to the city of San Bernardino and also some to the county. And among these resources are historic books, maps, photographs, pamphlets, clipping files, obituary files. So we get all kinds of letters from people wanting to find an obituary from somebody in the 1940s. We have a collection of high school annuals. Somebody may want to see the San Bernardino high school class of 1950. So that's a great place to spend time on a rainy afternoon and lose yourself in various books related to city history, newspaper clippings.
Or genealogy, I know.
Genealogy, right, as I said, people looking to find information on their ancestors and that, so that's a unique resource.
What are some of the memories you had as a child of going to the library, getting a library card, checking out a book, and this book is mine for the next 2 weeks?
Well, I grew up in the mountains, so one of my great memories would be we were fortunate that since we were in the mountains, we didn't have a physical library near us, but we did have a bookmobile that would come up to our community every couple of weeks, just up the street from us. So I would always look forward to checking out books, checking out magazines. Being a big sports fan, I always wanted to check out Sports Illustrated and a collection of library books. So those were always fond memories of mine and part of my interest and affinity for library service. So we hope to give people current memories that are good in those regards.
How important do you think it is to bring the library to the community? Like you said,
right.
You grew up somewhere where there wasn't a physical library, but you had a bookmobile that came to you.
Right.
You're fortunate that we live in a city where we've got branches, but how important is it to you to make sure that people who can't get to the library can sort of have those things brought to them?
Well, we're always looking to see what we can do to help promote ourselves and get the word out about us, especially now since we're in a mode where we are trying to get the people coming back to us, given the challenges posed to us by the pandemic of the last couple of years, and then taking advantage of the new and expanded hours that we have to offer. So we do try to utilize our website and social media and press releases to get the word out to people about what we have to offer, what's going on, and those types of things. So like I said, when you go to our website, you also can see our links to our social media pages.
Tell me that address again, and we'll put it up on the screen.
All right, webpage is www.sbpl.org. Just think of San Bernardino Public Library.org.
Okay, and the social media handle.
Social media, right. The actual social media addresses are kind of long, but if you just go down to the bottom of the page, then you'll see the icons for Facebook and Twitter, and you can just click on those, and I will show you our latest feeds, and you can then connect to them from there. And like I said, we have our online catalog on the webpage. We have our news releases of what's going on. We have slides of current events. We, as cited earlier, we have the links to all of our online resources there. So it's a constantly evolving source of resources. You can also even check your accounts, see what items are checked out to you. If you have items that are coming due, you can actually get an email that will remind you, hey, tomorrow your items are due. You can either renew them, or here's a general reminder called a friendly reminder to return them.
And is the website where you would find a calendar, a calendar of events,
yes.
Upcoming programs and activities?
We also have a calendar of events in addition to the other items that I cited.
You mentioned that the library activities are no cost. Do
Right.
they require any type of reservation?
Generally not. The only place that really required a reservation was at the Rowe branch for its story time Thursday at 10:30, because the branches being smaller than Feldheim, they sometimes have more of a space consideration. So since Rowe's story time is popular and we have somewhat limited physical space, so that's the only place that really requires a reservation.
But generally these are walk-in?
Generally walk-in, yes.
Okay. What are some things people can look forward to in the years ahead? What are some plans that the library is working on in the coming horizon?
Well, we're always looking to see what we can do. We utilize funds from the state library as they become available and other grants. Like I said, we're always hoping to offer more, but of course we have to have the funding to do it. But we're always looking to see what more we can do in technology-wise. Another one of the interesting things that we had in the literacy department is something called a makerspace area. That was a grant that we received from the state library to create what's called a makerspace area. A makerspace area is where people can build and create and make things. So it's kind of a opportunity to show that libraries give opportunities for people to do things beyond just read and research, so people can take advantage of these resources to build and create and make things. So just when we were trying to really push this, then that was what we encountered the challenges of the last couple of years. We hope as things are finally turning the corner here and getting back to normal, that we can also do more programming with the makerspace and its activities, because that's a unique resource that not every library has.
Do you have a need these days for volunteers?
Oh yes, we always have a need for volunteers. They have to go through a process through the city's HR department, but volunteers can apply by going to the city's website and then to HR. City's website is, just think of sbcity.org. We utilize volunteers in various areas, including I cited the California room a minute ago. So that's an area where we're currently looking for volunteers. And then we utilize other volunteers depending on their skills and interests. Especially the volunteers in the California room, we're looking for people with an interest and passion in local history and the appreciation for it. But yes, we do utilize volunteers.
Last thing before I let you go, what for you in your time as director has been the most satisfying thing in leading this organization?
Well, the most satisfying thing leading this organization is it's good to finally see us in the ability to increase hours and offer more services for the public, given the city's challenges of the last 15 years financially. For a long time we were just trying to get by and hang on, so it's good to actually have the opportunity to actually do some things for the good, and actually to expand services and to improve our offerings for the public.
Did you feel that there was kind of a pent-up demand, once you kind of reopened things after the pandemic allowed the conditions to change?
Well, somewhat. I mean, you always hope for more. I mean, and then as the conditions
you got to
keep
get the word out.
changing with the pandemic. But yeah, I mean, we had people who would compliment us and say how good it was to get back to the library, and they were thrilled to see us starting to resume services. When we first resumed, we weren't all the back to the full level of service we are now. So at that point, it was incremental expansions of services, but you had people who were pleased to have the opportunity to get back out and get back to us.
Well, Ed Erchevak, it's been a pleasure having you on the program. Congratulations on this great milestone of bringing programs and activities back to the city branch libraries. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Well, thank you for having me as your guest. It's good to talk about the library, and like I said, as always, take advantage of our website. It gives you an opportunity to see what's new and what's going on at the library.
Thank you so much.
All right.